Naya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Guru Charana Dandam Bhakta Vrinda Samanvitam Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Bande Nityananda Sahoditam Shri Nandanandanam Shri Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sarva Gadamayam Dadati Swapadanti Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare. So first of all, I offer pranams to our Gurudev, Vishnupada Dandi Swami Bhaktivedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj, Rupanuga Guru Varga, all devotees, our Shiksha Gurus, Sri Gaur Govinda Gosai Maharaj, Sri Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Gosai Maharaj, Pujapad Sadhu Maharaj, go Dandavat pranams. So we're hearing the invaluable instructions of Sri Rupa Goswami. So vague means urge, cannot cancel them, cannot pretend it doesn't exist. Everything has to be used in a favorable manner. No? Therefore, bhakti is not suppression or rejection. Bhakti is just channeling in the right direction. Everything has its utility because everything created by Bhagavan, so everything can be used in seva. Therefore, Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita said how to do. Anya bilasita sunyam gyan karmadi anavritam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhakti uttama. So, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, ruchi in this verse means you can attain the stage of bhav. Bhav means this verse, done with taste. So he used Anusilanam means, bhakti means that you should do something. On the subject of doing nothing, where's Bhatu? Okay. Anusilanam. We should not just think I lie in my bed and if it's in my astrology chart I will get bhakti. Some endeavor should be there. So two types of endeavor. Bhav Rupa and Chesta Rupa. Chesta Rupa means by these senses, by these mind, by these karmindra, by these gyanindra, I should do something for Bhagavan. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanavedanam. Iti Pumshapita Vishnu Bhaktis Channavalaksanam Kriti Bhagavati Ada Maniti Adat Uttam. Sri Prahlad Maharaj, one of the Mahajans, has said, no, Chesta Rupa means what? I have to use my mouth for kirtan, my ears for hearing. Many people doing kirtan, like mouse. Didi says those people don't want to use their body for Krishna seva, using all energy for own enjoyment. Thank you. So, by Navavida Bhakti we engage ears, tongue, what else? Eyes, hands, leg, voice, brain, mind. No, this is all Chesta Rupa. Parikram, I think someone's going on Govardhan tomorrow. Coming to artis, doing kirtan, doing pranams, dandavats. This is all Chesta Rupa. But should be with some feelings. Like I do pranam without feeling of surrender, that pranam is like a push-up. So, some bhav rupa should be there. Some cultivation of feelings, favorable feelings. If I am a Raghunuga Bhakta, I can cultivate my favorable feelings for Radha Krishna. If I am level of Vaidhi Bhakti, I can cultivate my favorable feelings for Gurudeva and Vaishnavas. At least love means what? Okay, maybe I'm not on that level to love Radha Krishna. Maybe I have too many anarthas, but I should not have so many anarthas I cannot love Guru Vaishnavas. Tarun, what we're doing in the mud, that's our only goal. I should make some effort to develop loving feelings for Gurudev, how much they're doing for us. Right? Something we can do for them also. So Rupa Goswami discusses all this. What is loving exchange with Vaishnavas? Right? I'm not feeling I'm very low, they are very high, how can I reach them? Then Rupa Goswami, you have to make some effort. Dadati pratigriyate guryamakati prichate bhunkte bhojate cheva sadvidi pratilakshana. Some symptoms should be there. No, I should give something. No, like we bring fruits or some bananas, anything for Thakur. For we give to Vaishnavas. No, I remember for years people would give very nice fruits to Didi. Well, when Guruji was in this world, and every single time, hundreds of times, oh, Gurudev would like this one. First thought, Gurudev would like this one. So anything we give to them, they are using for seva. And when they see we have some mood of seva towards Thakurji, towards a Vaishnava, automatically they also feel something, no? Affectionate dealings. I should give something. No, this is not a business. This is how much we give our wife and children. No, something we should also give Gurudev and Vaishnavas. No? So giving something, they are not stockpiling. They also return to us in the form of prasad. No? Maybe I have some confidential inquiry on bhajan. So some questions. No? And hearing their Harikatha, their answer, this also develop affection. Gurudev said it's an offense to sit silent before Guru Vaishnava. It means we should always come with some question, some relevant question. Right? And if we cannot think of any relevant question, that means we're not reading. No? Sometimes Guru, I remember, Gurudev was in Australia. One after the other, just stupid question. You cannot even imagine how stupid. Well, if you're Australian, you could know. Then 3-4 stupid question, Guru Maharaj would say, this means none of you are reading. None of you are reading anything, because brain is fully empty. So this is all loving exchanges, bhunkte, bhojayate, taking some Mahaprasad, also giving something. When the devotees would come to see Mahaprabhu, then they would bring so much, especially one devotee, Raghav Pandit. Actually, his bhajan study is there in Govardhan. One cave is there. So Raghav Pandit, very famous. Nityananda would stay months in his house, near Panihati, where Raghunath Goswami was punished by Nityananda Prabhu. And what was the punishment? Feed the Vaishnavas. This is no punishment, this is like one blessing. How do you get their blessing? Serve them. So Nityananda stayed for months in the house of Raghav Pandit, months. Raghav Pandit, he was the one that took Srinivasacharya on this Brajmanu Parikrama. Went to all these, if you read Bhakti Ratnika, showing Srinivasacharya everything. Srinivasacharya Narati. Now, so every year he had one sister, Damayanti. And every year they would just cook millions of preparations. Chutneys and sweets and dried fruits, ladus made of dust, special digestive ladus, many things. And they would pack in their bags. These bags became famously known as Raghav Joli, the bags of Raghav. And Mahaprabhu would eat it throughout the year. So this is loving exchange, especially devotees love Krishna, they offer, then Krishna loves devotee, he gives back prasad. I cannot do that with the Gauranga. I'm not Raghav Pandit, but at least Vaishnavas who are in front of us, we should make some effort. So this Upadeshamrita is very practical. It's like step by step. Step by step. So anyway, first step we were hearing Vajravegam. These 6 enemies, actually all these are classed as the 6 enemies. Right? Anger, greed, illusion, what else? Lust, madness, envy. These 6 enemies, in Manashiksha Raghunath Goswami, these 6 are like dacoits. A dacoit grabs you on the road and plunders all your wealth. So these 6 dacoits are plundering all our wealth of all our bhajan, all our mind and senses, all our energy. But everything just has to be put in the correct direction. So my urge of speech, especially the next few days, is terrible astrology for communication. Right? Rahu right on top of Mercury. That means you will say or do something stupid in the next few days. Of course, astrology, you can't change it, but at least you can know what's happening. So Vacha Vegam, I should control my speech, my mind. Mind is crazy. Gogmaj would always quote Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Gopinath. Actually, the first question I asked him, then I forget the question, but it was Mana Je Pagalamo Namani Sasan Sada Chetan Visaya Porichego. Oh, my mind is completely mad. He says, I admit it, my mind is fully mad. He never takes any instructions. Namani Sasan, Sasan means chastisement. He never takes any type of chastisement, correction. He's always fully unconscious and always pulling us towards Maya. So how to control the mad mind? Don't listen to it. He would always give that instruction. Why listening to the mad mind? Why following the mad mind? So how to control the mind? The best way is Harikatha. In a few days we'll have chants of Bhagavad Saptaha. We'll hear the story of Dundakari. So many people hearing Harikatha, but at the end of Katha, the Vishnu dusas came and just took him. Just took Dundakari back to Godhead. Then Gokanu was asking, what about everyone else? They were sitting there, that's true. But their minds were other place. So when we chant Harinam, when we hear Katha, we should think of these things. Afterwards we should be thinking. Someone asked Bhakti Bhava of Puri Maharaj, what should I think of when I chant Hare Krishna? He said, when you chant Hare Krishna, think Hare Krishna. Anyway, so very hard to control the mind. Easiest way is by Hare Katha. And some people many years hearing Katha, but no changing. Not changing their behavior, their attitude. Good, already fixed. I will do this. What I'm doing, this is good. But Gurudev says, our mind should be soft like clay, and Harikatha, like the potter, he makes whatever shape he wants because the clay has no resistance. Therefore, what the potter wants to make the clay becomes that. What shape pots. But we are we are already fixed in stone before the potter begins. So have to hear very submissively. So, easy way to control the mind is by hearing Katha. So anger, all these things can be used. Narottam Das Thakur and Prem Bhakti Chandrika. These enemies can all be used in devotion. Like Krodh Vegam. Whenever Gurudev would give Harinam, he would say, we have our hands in the bead bag, but the finger is outside. Every time he would say. Finger means anger. When we're angry, what we do? Or pull the trigger of the AK-47. Gurudev would do that. Anger, he said, anger destroys devotion. But still anger can be used nicely, then it gives no harm. I should be angry at those who blaspheme Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. Like Gurudev would always say about himself, I'm like one kitten, very soft. But anyone criticize Hari, Guru, Vaishnava, I become like a lion. So anger has its place. Those who misbehave with Vaishnavas, misbehave with Gurudev, then anger. So anger can also mean neglect. Neglect of Vaishnava, Madhyamadikari should neglect those who are envious. Anyway, but Krodh also has its place, like Hanuman, when Sita was kidnapped, how angry he was. There's a Katha Maharaj used to tell. Hanuman, whenever Ram Katha is spoken, Hanuman sits in the audience listening somewhere. So one speaker was there and he was saying, when Hanuman, Sita was kept in one special garden by Ravan, the Ashok Batika, very beautiful, like playground pasta of Ravan. And he said when Hanuman went there, then Hanuman was looking at all the different flowers, some pink, yellow, red, green leaves, many, many different varieties of flowers. And Hanuman in disguise, he put up his hand, no, this is not correct. All the flowers were red. There was no varieties in the garden. Then speaker could understand who was that. Then he said, well, problem is Hanuman was so angry. His eyes were red, he just saw everything red. So angry. So to use anger against those who criticize Hari, Guru, Vaishnav, this is correct and purifying use of anger. That anger never degrade you. No? So anyway, Jiva Vegam, control the tongue, means don't eat foodstuffs not offered to Bhagavan. And even foodstuffs offered to Bhagavan should know one's limit. Udaru Pasta Vegan, this is the line Gurudev said. Tongue, belly and genital. If you eat too much, then problem will come on the other end. So don't eat too much. And genital, even that can be used for seva. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, if I could produce a Krishna conscious son, I'm ready to have relations with the opposite sex thousands of times, but in Kali Yuga it's very hard, so I don't bother. But can be used for seva. Actually should only be used for seva. So even relation between husband and wife, this is just to produce child. If it's not for that, then it causes bondage. So these 6 Vegas have to tolerate, have to use correctly. And today is these 6 things which destroy devotion. Like Trivikramaji used to always say, you are filling up the bucket with so much water, but there are so many holes. So everything is lost. So he would always give the advice, plug your holes. He would always say that, plug your holes. So 6 big holes, atyahara, over-collecting. Okay, over-collecting means by the senses also. Over-collecting too much by seeing, smelling, hearing, tasting, touch. Over-collecting too much, greedy. Priyasas cha, over-endeavoring for material things which are very difficult to achieve success. Actually, without the association of Vaishnava, all these things are impossible to overcome. No, they sit on your head and we cannot control them. We're always collecting. But Vaishnava is very careful. They come and periodically clean. And they say, but that's why without Vaishnava Sangha, all these things you cannot do. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in this, Vaishnava Thakur Doya Rasagara. Chaya Vega Doni Chaya Dosa Sodi Chaya Guna Deho Dasi Jata Chaya Sata Sangha Deho He Amare Bosichi Sangare Ase. Why I'm sitting in the association of the Vaishnavas? Because without their grace I cannot control the 6 urges, I cannot become free from the 6 faults. I cannot cultivate the 6 favorable activities, but in Vaishnava association, some chance is there. Atihara, Priyasascha, many times we get some idea, I will do this, like farming or something. Not so easy like we think, not so easy. Like Gurudev would say for Janmashtami. So, like Gurudev's Janmashtami was enormous. Anyone who saw a Janmashtami in Gurudev's time, Prabhupada saw. Huge, enormous, you cannot imagine. Elephant was there. Elephants, like 10, 15 different, like bullock carts, cars decorated with 2, 3 different bands that would blast your eardrums out. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And they would start cooking 4 or 5 days before. Thousands of kachoris, thousands. Can't speak, too much water in the mouth. They would be cooking for hundreds of tins of ghee. The ghee tins were piled to the roof. And Gurudev said, ordinary person tried to undertake this type of endeavor, even for Bhagavan Seva, they would be crushed. but they have some special potency, some special power. Like Gurudev would build these huge temples in Govardhan and Navadvip. Sometimes I think, Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj built 108 temples in how many years? 11 years. I'm like 35 years, I haven't even built one temple. We should know our limit. No. So even over-endeavoring, of course some risk should be undertaken. Srila Sridhar Maharaj would say, if you take a risk for Bhagavan, then he'll help you always. But still we should know our limits also. So don't over-endeavor for some, even maybe devotional thing. Maybe you would try for something too big, and then all day you're running behind all these things and you cannot chant, you cannot remember. So this may also destroy devotion. Atyahara, over-collecting, over-endeavoring, prajalpa, rubbish talks. In Manashiksha he said this prajalpa, she's like a prostitute. Asad vata vesya visujamati sarvasya harani Manashiksha. Like a prostitute plunders all your wealth and leaves you with some disease. Or leaves you with nothing if you're lucky. In the same way, these mundane topics plunder the mind of all endeavor, desire to serve Hari Guru Vaishnava and leave you with nothing. So prajalpa, talking rubbish things, of course these days we have our mobile phones. Special creation of Kali Yuga. Actually when I was a brahmachari, years didn't watch television, nothing. No. And now, Hari Bol. So prajalpa. Niyamagraha. Niyamagraha, some people over-endeavoring for the rules while not understanding why. Or under-endeavoring for the rules, like our little Batu here. Over-endeavoring or under-endeavoring, both is a fault, both destroy devotion. So many people come to the temple, so many rules, right? Especially here. New person spends the first week being yelled at. Don't walk here. Why not? Don't walk here, don't touch this. No. But why? No. Many people just follow the rules, but what are the goals? Why we're following the rules? There should be understanding of why you're doing it. No? Not just shouting at the new people. Explain to them why you don't do it. No, even Gurudev had so many, but he would, one time I was doing pranam, Everyone just does pranam, hand in bead bag. Even here, 90% of people I've seen do pranam to the deities, just keep the hand in the bead bag because I'm like Haridas Thakur, right? I can't live 1 second without the holy name. They do dandavat with the hand in the bead bag, bead bags on the ground doing dandavats. You put in Tulsi Mala on the ground. Gurudev, one time I did there in Radha Damodar, and Guru said, hey, don't do. And then he showed, take out bead bag, put on neck, do dandavat properly. This is one of the 32 seva parades to do dandavat with one hand. I mean, we're telling people for years, but still everyone's doing it. No? Have fun in Yamaloka. So, there's a reason why we're doing all these rules. So many people just fixated on the rules, but not understanding why I'm doing. And some people just ignoring and neglecting the rules, both is a fault. So it says, another translation of Niyamagraha, following spiritual practices for which one is unqualified for. This is another meaning of Niyamagraha. No, I will do Krishna Lila Smaran. But you have no Siddha Deha. No knowledge of your relation with what mood I'll do seva to Radha Krishna. By some mental gymnastics, not like that. Anyway, so under neglecting the rules and like over fixation of the rules, sometimes some flexibility will be there. Like Gurudev comes and it's winter. But Shastra says, must wash the feet of the Guru and fan him. It's freezing cold, so you're pouring the cold water on Gurudev, fanning him a million miles an hour. But it's winter time, he's not feel at all comfortable by that, so everything have to look a little bit. Sangha tyagat satovrati. Oh, sorry. Jana sangas chalolam cha. Give up materialistic association. Even in the temple, there are some people whose association is terrible. I remember in Gurudev's time, you could see in Kartik with 1,000 people, but the womanizers, they'd make their own little group. You could see very little. The womanizers, they had their group, and the Ganja fellows had their little group. You could see them clear as day. No? Wow. Everyone had their little group, the girls looking for a boyfriend, they had their little group. So even in association devotees, there may be some association which is worse than poison. Jana, especially those who are fully independent, you associate with them, what's going to happen to you? Oh, he's doing it, it's okay for him. What? Anyway, so even in the temple we'll have to look what is favorable association. And greed, lolams cha, sadvidaya bhakti vinashati. These 6 things will destroy devotion. Then just utsahan nishchayat dajat, tat karma prabhatanat sangatyagat satovati sadvidaya bhakti prashidati. 6 things destroy devotion. So we'll have to give up these things. Many times we don't even have the power, we can't even see, but Vaishnavas, they will see. 6 things give devotion, nourish devotion. Enthusiasm. When we first come to the temple, how enthusiastic we are. Remember Purushottam? Go back in time. So enthusiastic. Oh, Mangalati, we're leaping out of bed and embracing the cold water. In the beginning we have so much enthusiasm, but then making offense, that becomes crushed. Utsahan. Someone said, I'm bored, I want to go on an adventure. Well, I look at my phone during the Harikatha, nice one, but for a new low. So, first listen, then preach. No? What you can preach unless you listen. So, Utsahan, just shut up, all right? Jesus. Useless fellow. No? Utsahan, enthusiasm. Nishchaya, determination. Even though there may be many obstacles. Duskrit and sukrita, sometimes we have too much good sukriti. This gives obstacle. Maybe we're too handsome, too wealthy, too intelligent. Most of us seem to have missed out on that, but sometimes too much sukriti can give an obstacle. Sometimes too much past sinful activity also gives obstacle. So many obstacles come in the path of devotee. Darjat, patience should be there, just like I displayed them. Some delay may be there in achieving the goal, but have to be patient. Like I heard one time, one man was there in Madhuvan, he asked, how could Dhruva achieve Bhagavan in only 6 months? How is it possible? He was thinking like that. How could he get Bhagavan in 6 months? So he was being rowed across the Yamuna, and he asked the question to the boatman. Then boatman said, you see that white mountain over there? Yeah, that's Dhruva's bones. Each time he took a body, he did austerities, he died. Those bones fell on the ground. Next life he did austerities in the same place. So over so many lifetimes those bones came up. That's how he achieved Bhagavan in 6 months. Sometimes some new person comes to the temple, very quickly they go up. You see some people, very quickly. No, but that means what life they're doing, last life what they're doing, so much. Tat karma pravatanat, we should maintain our life in a proper manner. No, this is too much important also. If I'm grihastha, I should not maintain myself by begging. Grihastha has no right to sponge off others. Right? Tat karma pravartana. I should do a proper occupation which doesn't degrade me, no connection with like meat eating and gambling and all these things. Also, if I'm sannyasi, I should maintain life in proper manner. Some brahmachari asked Bhakti Pragyan, many brahmacharis here, we can open a soap factory. We can open soap, manufacture soap. Param Gurudev said no. Have to speak a time what comes by begging, maintain oneself like that. Huh? Sangha Tyagat, give up bad association. Soap factory. Sangha Tyagat, give up bad association. No? Especially even in the temple. Some people just horrible association. Give them up. No? Sangha Tyagat Satobriti. No? Anyway, as the previous acharyas have performed bhajan, tat karma pravartanat, I should do like that. Satobriti, as they have lived, I should also follow that. So these things nourish devotion. So 6 Vegas, 6 faults, 6 good things. All these are nourished in sadhu sangha. All these are nourished. And just by their association, they will also teach us this. So giving up Vaishnava Sangha alone, how you can do all these without association of Vaishnavas? Who will give strength? Ekaki ama nahi pai bal hari nam sankirtan. Alone I have no strength for doing sankirtan. So anyway, so these first 3 verses, this is like our foundation. No, then these next verses is really very genius of Rupa Goswami. How I cultivate a loving affection for the Vaishnavas, 4th verse. How I should see the Vaishnavas, right? Drishte Sabhav Janitir, how I should see them. No? What are the different gradations of Vaishnavas? Madhyam, Kanishta, Madhyam, and Uttam. A Kanishta has no power to understand who is Madhyam. They make the Madhyam into the Kanishta and do aparad. Even though the Kanishta says, my Guru is Uttamadikari, they have no understanding what that means. Only Madhyamadikari can understand what that means. So we'll have to understand the different gradations of Vaishnavas. Anyway, step by step, so much practical and valuable instructions. Go Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. Can you put this over here?
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Pradale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Bhaktaya Panchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Degadomi Jaya Dosha Shuddhi Jaya Guna Devada Jaya Satsanga Dehaya Hare Osachi Sangiraya She Osachi Sangiraya She Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare. First of all, my limited dandavat pranams to Srila Gurudev, Nitya Prishtam Vishnupad Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Shiksha Gurudeva Swami Vishnupad Srimad Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Goswami Maharaj, Srimati Krishna Priyata Purani, all Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, the author of Upadeshamrita, Pujapad Damodar Maharaj, all others, dandavat. So, very nectarian katha. Although these are basic principles, to start with the basics is very, very essential, just like in school. When you haven't accomplished the first grade, then you cannot go further on. So we want to achieve perfection, which is bhava and prema, but in order to achieve that we need to practice sadhana bhakti. So the elementary principles of sadhana bhakti given here by Srila Rupa Goswami in Upadeshamrita. So we're hearing about the 6 urges. Yesterday we were hearing about Vachavegam, the urge of speech, and today Maharaj was telling us about the 6 prohibitions, what not to do. Atyahara prayasamscha prajalpo niyamagraha jana sangascha laulyamcha shadbir bhaktir vinashyati. So these 6 can stop your bhakti, development of your bhakti. Atyahara. Atyahara. Ahara means to eat, and ati means to eat too much. But that doesn't only pertain to eating the food, eating, drinking that we sustain ourselves on. That pertains to different impressions. Atyahara means too much eating with your senses, your sense of vision, your sense of smell, your sense of hearing, etc. When you do too much, then all unnecessary samskaras, all unnecessary impressions come. Atyahara. Prayas. Prayas means unnecessary endeavors. Unnecessary endeavors also are included in one anartha, which is within the, 4 times 4, 16 types of anarthas, unnecessary things. So that is called accepting something which is opposed to bhakti, some philosophy, some practice. I remember when I was young in ISKCON temple, I was in there in Lithuania. The president became a member of MLM, that's multi-level marketing. And he made all devotees concerned about how to make money. Like all of a sudden, in a few months, almost all devotees became MLM members of that pyramid actually. That was a pyramid. Then all it failed, then he took another pyramid. And himself, he became very rich. And finally went to America, to those people he was associated with, made a good money, and all those devotees lost so much because they were not at all inclined towards commercial activities, but they were used by that rascal president. So that's a very, very vivid example from my youth. No, his name was Janardhan anyway. So that is a very vivid example how we can be deviated. But I wanted to talk actually today a little bit more about Prajalpa. And I was mentioning the book Bhakti Aloka by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So very, very wonderful statements Srila Bhaktivinoda is making about Prajalpa. So as we heard yesterday, Jalpana is the method of communication which is typical to us. We are not telepaths, we cannot read others' thoughts, we cannot communicate with sounds like animals, etc. We speak. So that speech is our method of communication. So what is idle speech? Useless talk, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, is extremely detrimental. Practicing devotees should discuss topics of Lord Hari in the association of other devotees and remember Hari's name, form, qualities and pastimes. So in Gita, one of the best verses in 9th chapter dedicated to Bhakti Yoga by Krishna. Satatam kirtayanta omam yatatascha drithavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Those devotees who are under the shelter of spiritual energy, Daivim Prakritim Ashrita, always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is stressing here, always chanting my glories. Always chanting my glories. So, if not directly, then indirectly. For example, some grihastas are organizing a festival. So they're chanting, they're speaking, they're thinking about investments, about sponsors, about many things which support that festival. So that is also Harikatha, that is also worshipable. That's why Gurudev was giving so many thanks to organizers of festivals. So that's all right. So then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking about Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya. So when we engage our endeavors in Krishna Seva, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagya Uchyate. Without attachment. We, as Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada was saying, like, oh, you can give me all the money of the world. I'll use it for Krishna. And he did, actually. When one reporter was asking Swami Maharaj, you're residing in the richest country in the world. Do you have a car? Like this stupid question. They're saying, oh, in Germany I have 19 Volkswagen vans. And we go on Sankirtana, we go on book distribution. And so that's the example he gave. So that is called Yukta Vairagya, or proper renunciation. Yukta means proper. Also, if we read Bhagavad Gita, you can see the principle underlying. The whole Bhagavad Gita is Nishkam Karma Yoga. Nishkam means without attachment. That is actually very, very, very high. Actually can be practiced probably only by Madhyamadikari devotee. So then, how is it related to Prajalpa? So that is, when we use Yukta Vairagya, then our Jalpana, or our speech, directly or indirectly related to Krishna. So that is the consequence of our Yukta Vairagya. The devotees Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing should abstain from useless arguments. Useless arguments. Sometimes devotees sit and start arguing about mundane matters. Nowadays so many politics in the world. Oil crisis, political crisis, wars here, there. Well, sometimes end of the world. So anyway, it's sometimes good to know, but constantly discussing about that, forgetting your goal, that's detrimental for bhakti. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing, useless arguments arise from envy and pride, aversion or attachment to sense gratification, or foolishness or self-pride. Here's the formula. These are the reasons why unnecessary talks and useless arguments, where they come from. So pride. While discussing topics of the Lord and His devotees, the practicing devotee should always be careful to avoid useless arguments. So sometimes devotees seemingly discuss about Krishna, but then they sit down and they go into endless arguments about nothing, about insignificant things. What's that called? Sophisms, in the middle of nothing. They go into philosophical debates which have no real value. As remember, Maharaj, there was famous discussion about Madhvacharya's theory in Russia. Back in one devotee read a book about Madhvacharya's teachings, and he took up one idea of Madhvacharya which wasn't really supported by Mahaprabhu, like eternal hell and something. So certain jivas are temporary, and I don't know, some theories he picked out which were not really supported by Mahaprabhu, and said, aha, Madhvacharya is actually our Acharya, you see the name Madhvacharya. So he started stressing those secondary features of his philosophy, and the result was what? Prajalpa, actually. Although seemingly it was Krishna consciousness, but actually it was quite useless, Prajalpa. Then debates. Even if we debate about Krishna, sometimes we can be engaging in debates, about Swarupa, and we can proclaim some bogus ideas. So what's the source of the debates? Debate arises only from a desire for conquest, состязательность, желание состязаться. It is extremely abominable, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. I know better than you, I know Gurudev better than you. Here you go, 2015, Swarupa of Swami Maharaj. The whole war, became manifested, Mahabharata. So, again I want to repeat, debate arises only from a desire for conquest, means I'm better than you. I have to learn, I know Gurudev better than you, I understand Gurudev's teachings better than you. And they are pointing, into the letters. Here, Gurudev says, crystal clear, this, that. But actually what's behind? They reject sadhusanga. They don't see, as a result, they remain kanishtas. They reject sadhusanga. They cannot really become, what's it called, shastravit, the knowers of shastra. They cannot become saragrahi, means knowing the essence of philosophical truths. So, regarding speaking, remember yesterday we were mentioning what Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita about austerity of speech. So he's saying speech, austerity in speech.
Useful?
Yes, three points. The first one is truthful. The second one is benevolent and доброжелательный. And the third one is useful. These three. So, but Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying here about speaking. In order to pass one's life without sin, one should not speak anything more than whatever little is necessary. It's like a formula. In order to pass one's life without sin, one should not speak anything more than whatever little is necessary. По-русски я скажу, чтобы провести жизнь без греха, нужно говорить не более, чем необходимый минимум. Необходимый минимум. So minimum you want to say. Don't say more than you need to say in any situation. Laconic. Being laconic is very important. Sometimes it's necessary to speak nicely. Eloquent speech is very good, also for bhakti, but not to become too eloquent, unnecessarily eloquent. That will become already, overextension of the definition of eloquency. So you have to be within the, that frame. Not too little, not too much, not too eloquent, not too laconic. You have to discipline your speech. So professionals do that, actors do that, those talking heads on TV, they know how to make presentation. But we learn speech from devotees, how Harikatha is resounding. When Srila Bhaktijivan Goswami Maharaj was speaking, he was not able to stop. I found on YouTube some of his classes. Also Pujapat Manasun Maharaj's godbrother gave me some phonogram anyway. He was speaking and Manasun Maharaj said that, Srila Janardana Maharaj is speaking here about Sadhu Sangha, the glories of Vaishnavas. And there was like a public assembly, many speakers, but he was speaking literally 1 hour. And nobody was stopping him. He was trying to stop himself. And they were saying, no, Maharaj, please go on, please go on. So pouring and pouring and pouring, svabhavik, like flow of nectar. So that is completely rasic, transcendental. That's another. But on the level of sadhana, we have to be regulated, not to speak too much, too little. Like, it depends also, speech depends on eating, sleeping, those factors, So in Gita also in 6th chapter, Krishna is saying, don't sleep too much, don't sleep too little, eat too much, not eat too little. Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, I remember, the yoga system was his great series of classes. So he was saying, don't eat at night. I remember the very first words I heard in that series of classes, the yoga system, don't eat at night. So life will become easier. Since I started practicing it, life really became much easier. About half a year now, no eating at night. So anyway, to lead the life of a devotee, one has to abstain from unnecessary speech and has to be trained in the proper speech of Harikatha and Katha supportive to Seva. So I hope Indubhushan Prabhu has something to say on these subjects. We still have about 10 minutes, so Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol Shri Upadeshamritam Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Oh yeah.
ज्ञानतिमरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। Vanchakalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. My Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of my holy masters, Nikhil voice Tom Vishnu Pada Sutta Sishma Bhaktivedanta Narayan Krishna Maharaj Srila Gurudev Om Vishnu Pada Sutta Sishma Krishna Pirita Gurani Om Vishnu Pada Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhusudan Krishna Maharaj Sri Guru Parampara Vaishnavas. So we are hearing the glories given by Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Upadeshamrita, nectar of instructions. So much nectar. Don't do this, don't do that. But really it is nectar, because Rupa Goswami knows what is the real nectar he wants to give. He wants to bring us to the real nectar. For millions of lives we are tasting in the wrong direction, for body, mind and senses, enjoying in the wrong way. So this is all illusion, and Rupa Goswami, by these instructions, he wants to tell us the direction to the real Amrit in the heart, the relationship with Radha Krishna. So we have to give up this attachment we have collected over many, many lives. There's a nice example of one marriage party. They were on the way to one marriage ceremony. And it became evening and it was a long walk. So they decided, let's take a boat. Because the marriage ceremony was at the riverside, long far down the riverside. So they took for the night, they took a boat and they were singing and dancing and so much fun. And then everybody late in the night partying, and then they became very tired. And then when the light came up in the next morning, slowly they woke up and they were shocked, because what happened? They had not moved 1 inch. The boat was still on the same place. What happened? They didn't lift the anchor. So they were shocked, they missed the whole ceremony. So this is our situation also. In Bhakti, if we practice Bhakti, but we not try to follow the instructions of Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Upadeshamrita, we're not lifting up the anchor. So Mahaprabhu's teachings, Mahaprabhu's message is like a boat. Kejavi, 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 Baba Sindhu. So
Anchor is independence.
the anchor is independence. Anchor. So we can follow this path of bhakti, but if we are not doing any endeavor to give up our attachments, we can take initiation for thousands of lives, Gurudev said, but we are not reaching the goal. So Rupa Goswami's instructions are so important. Then the boat can move on. Like bhakti is like climbing up a mountain. We start with Adosrada, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivriti, Nishta Ruchi, Asakti Bhav, Prem. So they say, Gurudev said, Ruchi is on the top. But to climb up a mountain is like the hard endeavor, no? If you go down, sometimes you have to hold yourself not to go too fast. So that is after, if you reach the stage of Ruchi, then very quickly Asakti Bhav comes. It goes fast. But to reach the stage of Ruchi, this is the hard work. Especially Anartha Nivriti. Most of us are in the stage of Anartha Nivriti. So it's hard work. And sometimes we feel satisfied, we are vegetarian, we have initiation, I have Harinam, I have Diksha, I have Sadhusanga. So it's like sitting on the platform of the mountain. We're climbing up and we're looking down, oh look, all these karmis, they are suffering so much. I have Sadhusanga, I have initiation. But Gurudev and Rupa Goswami, they want to inspire us, climb higher, go higher, reach Ruchi, Nishta Ruchi. So by these instructions, we can come out higher and higher, and then taste will come. There is so much Amrit waiting for us. We have no understanding. So Rupa Goswami gave this instruction, so important, to reach this Amrit. So the two verses in the beginning, don't give up these urges, speak, control of anger. What is it? Atyahar, over collecting, prayasyatya, prajalpa niyamagraha. So we heard these 6 endeavors we have to give up. But Gurudev says it's not possible unless we adopt the qualities of the third verse, like utsahan, enthusiasm. We cannot follow the first 2 verses if you are not enthusiastic. Enthusiastic utsahan is so important. Like if you go to school as a child, if you're not enthusiastic, like me, it took like so long time watching when can I go home. So enthusiasm is, if you are enthusiastic, everything goes fast, goes easy. So enthusiastic is a very important thing we have to adopt. It attracts Krishna so much also. If he sees the utsahan in a devotee, Krishna becomes so happy. One time Mahaprabhu, he had darshan, he was taking darshan of Jagannath. And one old lady came from the back of Mahaprabhu. And she had so much enthusiastic to have darshan, but she was very short, she could not see Jagannath. So in her enthusiasm, she was climbing up the shoulders of Mahaprabhu. And then Govinda, the servant of Mahaprabhu, saw this lady touching Mahaprabhu, even climbing up on his back. So he was chastising the lady. Do you know who this is? This is Gaura Hari, this is Mahaprabhu. You shouldn't even touch him, not even come close. What you were doing. But this lady, she was completely entranced. She wanted to see Jagannath. And when Mahaprabhu saw the chastisement of Govinda to this lady, he became angry to Govinda. Do you see his utsahan, her enthusiasm? You should not stop that. I wish I had so much enthusiasm to have darshan of Jagannath. So Mahaprabhu, he chastised Govinda for stopping this lady to climbing up on her shoulder. So this utsahan, this is a very important quality we should hold on. We should count our blessings. Sometimes we have some depression, we feel not inspired, but count your blessings. Where are we? We are in the association of the most treasures devotees you can find in the world. We are in the most holy place. So we have this association, we have sadhu sangha, we have the highest teachings to reach the highest goal. We are born in Kali Yuga, in Danya Kali Yuga, the time of Mahaprabhu. So always try to see everything positive. There is no right to become depressed. Even by understanding, I heard about Rupa Goswami, I heard about the Sat Goswamis, I heard about Srimati Radhika, who she is. Only by this meditation we can already give up our depression. Maybe our relationship is sometimes difficult with Didi or Maharaj, but they are working on us. It's not that everybody is, or somebody is neglected. No, Didi is working in so many ways on us. Some people she keeps close, some people she works from a distance. The example is given like the Guru works like a bird is sitting on the eggs. And a turtle, she's putting the eggs on the beach, but she's always meditating on the eggs. And a fish putting the eggs in the water, but always watching at the eggs. What else is there? So there are different examples how the Guru is treating us. Not always keeping everybody close, but always in different ways they are maintaining us, working on us. So in this way, don't be in a depressed mood sometimes. So we are getting treated by Didi and Maharaj so much, so we are growing. So these teachings are so important. We are very lucky. We can hear for a couple more days and then the Bhagavad Saptaha starts. So I think time is coming now for Aarti. Sri Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Sri Rupa Goswami Pad Ki Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.